Hey, welcome to another one of my videos. Thanks for joining me. I am the Wandering Englishman, and today you find me in Berlin. In today's video, you'll find me at the Altes Museum. This museum is found on the Museum Island in central Berlin. Quite a phenomenal island, actually. On the same island, you'll find the Altes Museum, the Neues Museum, the Alte National Gallery, the Bode Museum, the Pergamon Museum, and the Humboldt Forum. So truly quite an exceptional island, and it's also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So the Altes Museum was originally constructed to house all of the city's collections of fine arts, including the old master paintings and prints and drawings. However, right at the turn of the 20th century, around I think 1904, the museum was used to solely house a collection of classical antiquities. And since 1998, the collection of classical antiquities is basically displayed Greek antiquities, which is exactly what you're seeing right now, and is exactly what you're going to see over the course of this video. And I must admit, having recently been in Greece, you can watch my video 1 week in Athens. Just click up here, the little icon if you want to see that. However, I urge you maybe to click on that video after you've seen this video, of course, because by clicking away it doesn't help my watch time. So your attention is greatly appreciated. You have to forgive me today. Today I'm slightly struggling. I'm nursing at least 3 or 4 cracks and severely bruised ribs. I found myself the victim of a very dodgy bouncer with an IQ sub 70, so very far left on the bell curve. The guy decided it was appropriate to get me out of his establishment by grabbing me from behind, bear hugging me, a little bit Zangief style, and crushing my ribs. So yesterday I spent about 3.5 hours in the local hospital. However, enough of that, that's not relevant. What is relevant is the fact that I now get to sit down, make this video about my recent trip to the Altes Museum, and what an exceptional museum it is. And I hope just by seeing some of the imagery you can see how exceptional this museum is. I'm a big fan of Greek history, a very big fan of Greek history. None of my close relatives and certainly none of my near ancestors were Greek. However, there is a fondness for Greeks. I wonder if I can go back far enough in my timeline, you know how we all came out of Africa at some point. In theory we did. I wonder how far in my timeline it would be until one of my ancestors was Greek, because what an amazing history. And I have to say, if you are Greek, there's a lot to be proud of there. The philosophers that came out of ancient Greece, the folklore, the arts, which is what we're seeing right now, and just the history of that empire was phenomenal. They put education before most things. Education was the pinnacle of that civilization. It's a shame. Certainly from the UK, where education is now at a premium. We've gone the way of the US, where you have to pay for university now in the UK. Back in the mid-90s, education in the UK was free. I think it still is free in Germany, so the Germans are doing well, and hence the reason their civilization will continue to evolve. Although if Merkel has her way, she's intent on changing Germany for the worse. But I'm not going to go into that right now, because if I go into that right now, this video is going to get demonetized. It really will detract from the beauty of this museum, and what a phenomenal museum. To the extent where I think it'd probably just be appropriate to just sort of let it play. The exhibition that you're seeing is called Tough Types, Portraits of Ancient Greeks. So tough meaning as in tough man. A depiction of real, specific and historical persons and key achievements in Greek art. That's how it's sort of advertised. The museum, if you're in the area, if you don't ever make it to Berlin, or you make it to this exhibition, pretty much what I'm showing you in this video is pretty much the entire collection. I did manage to film everything. So if I sign off now, I want to thank you for your attention. I'll just let some music play and enjoy the rest of the video. I really appreciate the fact you're watching, and enjoy these masterpieces. Hey, so here I am at the Altez Museum, right in the center of Berlin. Check this out. It's very central. Beautiful museum. 10 euros to get in. A little bit on the pricey side, I have to say. 2 floors. What you saw in the video, is pretty much what there is in the museum. Obviously, you can look in detail when you go in there. You can read all the sort of cards. You can read every little detail about the pieces, about the sculptures. I was very impressed to see some of the sculptures, particularly Cleopatra, Socrates, Dionysus, Zeus. There was some amazing sculptures from the Greeks, the Romans, and yeah, pretty much the Greeks and the Romans. But it was very impressive. I very much enjoyed it. Worth seeing if you're a fan of that era. I certainly am. And what an impressive building that is. And I have to say, I probably whizzed around in it in just about 2 hours. So if you've got 2 hours to spare and it's a grey day like it is today, well worth it. I'd give it 7.5 out of 10. Price could be cheaper, there could be more to it, but if price isn't a factor, you're going to enjoy it.